The following is rated not safe for work. It contains strong language, adult situations, and lots of spoilers. Discretion is advised.
In the criminal justice system, cinematic-based offenses are considered especially heinous. The dedicated attorneys who investigate these villainous films are members of an elite squad known as the Reels of Justice. These are their stories.
Order, please, order. The Reels of Justice is now in session. Judge Maynard Bangs presiding. Your eyes for the Honorable Judge Bangs.
Be seated. Welcome to the Reels of Justice. Today we are hearing the case of The People versus Paranormal Activity, a 2007 found footage horror movie about a couple dealing with supernatural phenomena in their home over the course of several days and weeks. For those of you unfamiliar with our court proceedings, we are here to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. As always in this courtroom, films are to be considered excellent until proven awful, and the burden of proof lies upon the prosecution to prove beyond a shadow of a reasonable doubt that this film is guilty. Mr. Marty Ketola and Mr. Clif Campbell, you are representing the prosecution. You may present your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Reels of Justice will not be heard today, so we may bring you the following travesty of justice. Are you troubled by strange thuds in the middle of the night?
Do you experience feelings of dread when you see a shadow at the foot of your bed?
Have you or your family ever seen a non-human entity moving to your bedroom door?
If the answer is yes, then don't bother calling a psychic. They'll just tell you that they can't help you with this type of entity.
Set up a camera and call the guy with the most expensive consumer-grade audio equipment in San Diego.
Paranormal Investigators.
Our high-definition camera is on call 24 hours a day to record every single floorboard creak in your starter tract house.
We're ready to record you.
Well, this shameless pandering is going to work.
I'm going to need about 5 minutes to write a Ghostbusters themed opening, Your Honor.
It's too late. You're already up, sir. Thank you both. Appearing on behalf of the defense is Mr. Big Ben Haslar. Please present your opening statement.
Well, first off, I will admit that this is a film that isn't for everyone, especially if you're coming in with certain expectations of what you think the structure of a horror film or even what a found footage film should be, or even if you appreciate those genres. And a lot of your enjoyment might depend on the environment in which you saw it. If you watch it alone in a well-lit room, you won't have any fun at all. You might even find it boring. If you think that found footage begins and ends with Blair Witch, then similarly, you're not even really giving it a chance. This is a movie that thrives in the theater, where your eyes are forced onto that screen in the dark, and in a crowd, even better. And that's how I saw it. While I still love it at home, it's never been quite the same experience as seeing those nighttime shots with my eyes combing left and right, not sure where the thing is going to happen, when, or what form it will take, be it a shadow or a moving object. And that's another level that sells me on it so much. When this came out, I was a pretty avid watcher of the sci-fi show Ghost Hunters. And I was even in an organization that did exactly what they did. I was the skeptic of the group. I would be like in these areas that were supposedly haunted with a location, and we do things with a static cam, and we like kind of comb the evidence for moving objects. So I saw a lot of myself in the way Mika approaches things here. I was exactly like him, calling out demons because I don't think that they exist. But if they do, I want to catch it and put the whole thing up on YouTube or wherever, while other more believing people would be like, no, dude, you don't want to do that. Stop. And things can be much creepier this way than in traditional horror. In traditional horror, we're almost rooting for the villain to slash these people up because oftentimes it's framed as their comeuppance. We often see the monster. We know exactly the monster's backstory, whereas this is more effective, kind of like Jaws. In Jaws, the shark is a force of nature that we very rarely see. That's kind of the case here. People will talk about the noises in their houses and the shadows. It's even creepier if it's happening when you're not around or when you're asleep, right? This thing is always here, and you don't know how to control it. You don't know if it's safe to be with because you can never really clearly define what it's going to see or do. Yet it does have some amount of rules. You know, certain things tend to happen, like around 3:15. we know it tends to come from that attic area, and that it has an attachment to Katie. So when the night comes, we look to these static cam shots for answers, some clue as to what it is and why it is. If you didn't see it in the right environment, if you prefer a little more standard blood and guts in your horror, that's fine. It's almost like a comedy where it's like effective, where if it's effective or not, it can be a little bit subjective in your mind. But just because it isn't to your taste doesn't make it bad.
Thank you, Mr. Haslar. Absolutely zero Ghostbusters references, so far you're losing.
But he did say Jaws. That's your favorite.
Well, it didn't work on me.
Who's going to pander to Ryan?
Marty and Clif, you may proceed with your first exhibit.
Paranormal Activity is the new non-habit-forming nighttime sleep aid, and it's available over the counter. It's the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, you won't see demons medicine.
This movie, our first argument exhibit is the movie suffers from incredibly slow pacing. It just drags on and on. There's large portions of it with very little happening, mostly long nighttime shots where you're kind of hoping there's some subtle changes, but it tends to be more boredom than tension building, I think.
Absolutely. And it continues to do sort of the same inane things over and over in the movie. It's not building at all. It's dragging and dragging. It's much like dragging the girl out of bed. It's dragging us through the movie for minute by minute by minute and kind of forcing us to watch this god awful thing that's going on, right?
It feels like the movie doesn't really earn its scares. It just kind of waits until it lulls you off to sleep, and then it blasts you with a loud noise to wake you up,
Mr. Haslar, is this movie dragging us down a hallway, kicking and screaming?
Well, I think that this speaks more to the reality of it. Like, it feels more genuine this way. If we had people getting cut up or whatever, it wouldn't be the same movie. Like if the demon were like slashing people's backs or something like that, it would just become more unwatchable. Like, watch the sequels for examples of like what I think the movie you're trying to describe, and those sequels are terrible. The story is kind of dead simple, and I think it would lose credibility if it were more complex. Just look at this. Why don't they just leave the house? Like, here's a demon, we're tracking a person, so you could leave, but this like has an answer for like everything that the demon does, so it makes it interesting. It's attached to Katie. You hear noises just rattling off from somewhere. That's something that people experience in real life. But here, there's some real world thing that could bring it to this film. So you can feel commonality with these characters because you've heard something rattling, like the refrigerator going off, and you could try to explain it, but maybe you can't always. Those are exactly the kind of real world scares that this movie is going for.
Marty and Clif, is Mr. Haslar a kook who's just jumping at shadows?
Yes, I mean, he brings up a great point. This is the type of horror movie that people who are afraid of the loud noises that the fridge makes in the middle of the night think is scary. It's not scary.
Well, we're not though, because we're looking at it, like, especially with those static cam shots, right? Like we're sitting there, we're like, something's gonna happen. Where is it gonna happen? And like you're kind of a partner in the film for that. You're one of the investigators.
There's never any payoff. The negative space that they use never pays off. There is never a monster payoff. You mentioned Jaws and how Jaws isn't actually seen. Yes, the shark is actually seen. We see it. We blow the fucker up. With this thing, there's no telling.
Well, and we see that here at the end of the film where she gets dragged down the stairs. That only happens at the end of the film, but for the most of it, it's tension building.
The last 10 minutes of the movie, we wait 80 minutes to get anything going at all while we film this bed in this hallway that's dark because we're not smart enough to turn the lights on in the hallway to see anything, right? It doesn't make it's the pacing of it's really
you don't need that. You're asleep. You're dead asleep, and the night vision captures the things. It captures the feet moving. It captures the shadow moving across the door. It captures the Ouija board. They're just like more subdued than what you're looking for.
The scariest thing about this movie is its use of the firewire transfer protocol. That's the scariest thing about
that was 2005. It was a different time. What were you doing back then?
Trying to figure out the firewire transfer protocol.
Yeah, I think
right.
Exactly. I still haven't figured it out. Someone help me out.
It's more of a screensaver for me than tension building.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Exactly.
I'm just sitting there going, okay, we're still asleep.
think of Halloween. There's a great scene in Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis is standing there, and in the dark, we have Carpenter's using the negative space of a dark hallway, right? But what does he do? He has the lighting guy slowly turn a light up just enough that we can see Michael's face in the back. Now Michael doesn't do anything, but we know now the dread is real. We see it. It's palpable, right? We don't get that from Paranormal Activity. We get use your imagination. You know, it's make.
Well, it's a little more than use your imagination. We do see the shadow on the door with that negative space, but like it would be so jarring to me and most everyone else if you saw a physical demon at the end of this film. It just like that does not go with everything that we just saw.
Amazing. I think it would be amazing, and I do think the payoff is fine. It's just that we don't get anything in between it. It's like being served dessert for your entire meal. Here's your dessert. There you go. $900, please.
Hey, don't knock it.
No, I disagree. This is like more like appetizers for the entire meal. Like it's just giving you just enough, just like a little amuse-bouches to like just enough. Here's your olives. Here's your, just enough to like satiate you until we give you the full meal at the end of the movie.
Oh, I wanted an amuse-bouche now. Marty and Clif, would you like to present any further? Well, your next exhibit.
Dear Diary, it looks like my girlfriend is possessed by a demon. But the demonologist is out of town at a demonologist convention, and all I have is baby powder. Oh, well. Gotta go. Katie's being dragged down the hall by her heel, and I need to grab the camera and see what's up. Talk later.
The writing in this movie is really, really poor.
Straight garbage.
It's full of frustrating characters that drive you so insane, and that should be like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't like the characters, but I dislike them so much, I stop caring about things. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem with the internal logic of the movie, right?
Yeah, the internal logic of the movie is we've called in a specialist and he says, I can't deal with this. I need to leave the house immediately. Call a demonologist. What do? We don't call a demonologist. We wait and we wait and we wait. And then when we do call the demonologist, what do we get? The worst fucking hand wave in the history of movies. It's just the worst. Oh no, he's out of town. He won't be back for a while and I can't be here. See you, gotta go. Bye. Good luck, people with the demon. It's bad writing, guys. It's just really
Is this the same biggest hand wave in cinema that you guys were talking about before the recording, or are you just prone to saying a lot of things are the biggest hand wave in cinema?
Recording? We're in a courtroom. I've never seen these gentlemen before.
We record in the courtroom. In fact, I think we used those words a few times.
It's like Edge of Tomorrow, but boring. You know,
or Edge of Tomorrow.
There's just very minimal payoff and over reliance on nothing happening, and yeah, it's because of the repetitive structure of the movie. It's
a slow burn. It's a slow burn for sure.
Slow burn. The movie never even catches on fire. What are you talking about?
No, there's a Ouija board that catches on fire. You weren't watching closely enough. It absolutely does.
You got him.
You guys are.
Have you guys ever been involved in any paranormal hunts or anything of that nature? Have you like spoken to any psychics? And I think that's all nonsense. But if you have ever spoken with these sorts of people,
I have.
This is exactly what you would run up with. Oh, go ahead.
The only thing that
doesn't make a good movie.
No, and the only thing this movie is missing, since you brought up Ghost Hunters, is Zach Baggins coming in with his guns blazing and his arms pulled up, to his shoulders, daring the ghost to take him on. Like that's the only thing missing from this movie. It's
that's what he does, yeah, and that's called provoking, and that's what Mika does. He's like, I'm calling you out.
Right, but at one point she gets so scared that she's like, we got to leave, and he's like, no, we're gonna stay, and it's ridiculous. What is she studying, by the way? At one point she's like, turn the camera off because I need to study. Study what? She makes jewelry. What's the jewelry for? There's no level or layer to this movie at all. It's so surface.
Well,
it reminds me
that's
of
what makes it feel so real. Like he's only interested in filming the Paranormal Activity. He's not going to be filming, and that's kind of what lends to the sequels. That's what makes them a little less believable when they're recording literally everything. But yeah, it's like he's not going to record her making jewelry. He wants to record the demon. That's the whole point of it. So if this were something that really happened, hypothetically, you would be getting the film in this format. It would just be cut. They have an argument. There's a lot that happens in between these scenes where it's like, okay, they're just starting to argue. They cut. And then it's okay. 3 days later, he's like, I swear to uphold Katie's rules. This is exactly what would happen if this were happening. And to speak to the genuinity of the characters, the writing was done through a lot of ad lib. Oren Peli casted these two people based on how well they could ad lib off of one another. So like a lot of the lines that they're coming up with are kind of on the fly, which lends that level of genuinity that you would feel in a scripted film. You'd be like, that's just like too scripted, too perfect. No one talks that way. You don't get that in this film, Abby, and that's what makes it shine.
Ben, you're right. It is like that line in The Room where the mom talks about she has breast cancer and it's never followed up on. It's really engaging like that. It's just like that.
The Room is a different movie. The Room isn't found footage. It's leaning into the format.
They're two-dimensional people, and at no point do we get any depth or real feeling for them. She's basically just dollar store Jen from The Office. He's just some asshole.
Oh, I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $1.
Calm down, Mr. Haslar. Down, boy.
Please.
I love Katie. I love Katie.
Thin people. I don't have any problem with her as a person because I don't know her. That's the deal. I don't know who she is. It's bad writing.
Well, the whole movie is just a loop of set up the camera, go to bed, something small happens, repeat. And then while as that might have a realism to ghost hunting, it certainly doesn't make for engaging cinema.
Well, no, the format is a little bit more deeper than you're giving it there, because there's there's the set up the camera, film see what happens, comb through the evidence, but then it's also the handheld in the day, and that's what breaks it up. And during the handheld during the day, we're safe typically. We're reviewing the evidence, we're talking about what happened and how that makes us feel before we slip back to those static cam shots that kind of interrupt them. And the film really shifts into that third act so well when the thing happens during the day and we're no longer safe, and that's when it's like, oh no, now we've provoked it too much.
So back to the internal logic of the film for a second. And again, this is classic, right? But these idiots are told it's a demon, and they're given a number of a demon expert. They don't call. They're told not to bust out a Ouija board. They bust out a Ouija board. And yet still,
that's what people do. Not everyone's on the same level.
You should call this movie Sleeping the Activity, not Paranormal Activity. It's really freaking boring. The Ouija board tries to burn itself up just to escape from this fucking movie.
Take that, Ouija board.
Sleep.
I think did it try to go away? No, I think there's a lot to enjoy in this movie. I love that these two play with each other during those daytime shots. I love how Mika kind of annoys her, but his humor always wears her down to a smile. I love how, how she's like running in for a spider and he goes and gets the camera, and that annoys her even more, how he's taunting the demon's master plan. You can understand both of these characters and their motivations. And if it were me, again, I would want this on tape. But I can understand. I've met people like Katie who are against that. Don't mess with the Ouija board. Don't do any of this. This is something that I have been afraid of my whole life, and I want you to take it more seriously. So I completely buy both of them in this situation. A lot of people. I was surprised to hear you hate Katie. A lot of people seem to hate Mika. I really like both of them.
No, I don't hate Katie. I don't know her. That's my point. And the idea that.
But do you hate Mika?
The idea that you would date somebody and they would say, look, I think I'm followed by a demon and it's really bad and it scares the shit out of me. And your reaction is, I got to film that shit.
No. She says he didn't know that about her, right? He was like, this is sort of a surprise. It starts happening to them.
Bust that camera out. Let's do it. Right?
Yeah. It's 3 days before the movie starts. And he's like, maybe before we moved in together, you could have brought this up.
It's not like we hate the characters. No, we're just frustrated by them so much that we stop caring about them, and then we're not scared at all.
Because we don't know them.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've heard a lot about the characters. Marty and Clif, if you want to present another exhibit.
Oh, does Ben have a second exhibit? Or does it go to our third? Or was he just responding to our first? So we just
at the moment,
the 10th time here, Marty.
He should be saying objection more, though. That's true. It's Ben's fault.
True. Okay. It's Ben's fault. I should be saying objection. Apology.
So
objection.
Let's do the third.
I forgive everyone, whatever the courtroom equivalent is.
Yeah.
If you hear a thud up in the attic space, who are you going to call? Micah's camera.
If you find a photo with a burnt up face, who are you going to call? Micah's camera. I ain't afraid of no Ouija board.
I mean, there's
He's not, though.
There's such minimal payoff to the movie. because of the over-reliance on nothing happening. And you're just left with such a limited rewatch value on this film that you watch it once, you already know where any of the remote subtle scares might be, so there's no tension left. So you have to ask yourself, if you rewatch this often, is it just because of nostalgia?
Yep.
Because the movie itself, there's really nothing there.
Yeah, once the gimmick is exposed, it's done. There's really nothing to watch again. It's a Sixth Sense type of situation, or a murder mystery type of situation where you might watch it again just to kind of, again, nostalgically enjoy what they put together, but it's not something that has a load of rewatchability because it's laid bare in front of you at that point.
Well, I tend to agree. I think I even said that in my opening statement. I watched this in the theater, had a great time with like a crowd that was ready to like be invested in this thing. And I think on rewatches, it does suffer a bit. I've seen this film like 10 times. So, clearly I might be an anomaly by your paradigm, but I enjoy it. I think it's rewatchable. And I think it does at the end, like things do happen. The demon does possess her. It does drag her down the stairs. It does kill Mika. And there's like several different endings as far as what you want to choose. But in the canonical ending, in the theatrical ending, he looks at the camera and like specifically to Mika and like, hey, you got what you wanted, so it does come around at a head. Like there is a arc there.
The biggest payoff in the movie is that it ends. That's the biggest payoff in the movie. It's like, oh, thank God.
Hey, you can say that about any movie you dislike.
I'm not going to repeat
we often do.
And we do. Great. Marty, Clif, any further exhibits before I pass it off to Mr. Haslar? And of course, you can.
I think
make
it's.
I don't have much more. They can keep.
See, the reason you haven't been making objections, Clif, is it's your turn. Like Ben's supposed to be making objections. You don't make objections.
Okay, all Ben's fault. You guys are fine.
It's all.
I say my objection really quietly. It's like objection, and then I go.
What was that? An EVP? Did you guys hear that?
I'm used to Marty and I just firing back and forth at each other, so it's a bit. The only effective thing in the movie, I find it ironic that the most effective thing in the movie was suggested by Spielberg. And he was the guy who suggested the ending that hit the theatrical release. This is for me just not.
It's in the movie. People love it.
And what aspect was that?
It's not scary. It's not good horror. It's kind of watered down. Kind of Sony's. Sony's my first horror type of movie.
What did Spielberg suggest?
I get it if you saw it in the theater when you were 17. This is probably great. And there's a nostalgia factor to it, but I really don't think it holds up.
To answer the judge's question, Spielberg suggested that money shot, like where she like drags Mika up the stairs, throws him at the camera, and then kind of like turns into a demon and like kind of pounces on the camera. That was his suggestion.
Likes the camera pounce. Oh,
yeah. The original ending was like the police coming in, and it's like we don't know where Katie or Mika is. Like they disappear down the stairs, and they're both gone. That was the original ending. Doesn't matter though. I mean, like audiences, kind of enjoyed both endings. They certainly enjoyed the Steven Spielberg one. And if you're saying it's good and Steven Spielberg, came up with it, fine. It's in the movie. I'll take it. Enjoy it.
I can't take that away from us. It's in the movie now.
My point is the best thing in the movie comes from somebody who didn't have anything with making the movie, right?
Like, he came up with the ending. That's something to do with it.
He came up with the ending, sure, but the people who made it didn't write that ending. They didn't have it in production. They had to wait until the movie was picked up by a studio, and the studio said, "Here's your ending." Sure. That's how bad the writing in the film was.
They didn't feel a need to like do everything else. Like if you're saying it says that bad, they'd be like tinkering everything. They'd be like, okay, let's redo the first act. Let's redo the second act. They thought all that worked, and it does.
Sure. But then you're going from a small film that has a bit of a viral move in the early internet when people didn't really know what that was. It got a viral kick. And then you're spending $30-40 million to remake the idea, when what you really want to do is just kind of fix the ending, get it out there for $1 million, spend about 6 or 7 marketing it, and then make a shitload of money, which is what they did.
They did.
Ooh, shitload of money.
More power to them.
It's very successful based on what it is.
Well, come on, guys. Success doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
That's true.
Been a lot of successful shitty movies out there.
That's true.
We'll rest on our arguments for now.
Yep.
All right, they're laurels. All right. Mr. Haslar, if you'd like to proceed with your first exhibit.
Well, we talked about the story. We talked about the cast. The one thing I want to hit home beyond that is the found footage format. This or Blair Witch have got to be the best examples of found footage out there. And honestly, if someone were to like these kind of films, I would think it would be filmmakers like Clif and Marty here. Look how much they do with so little here. Just a house, a camera, and a few pulleys, really. But while Blair Witch is all handheld shaky cam, I think Paranormal Activity benefits from mixing up the two. Something they're able to do by leveraging a haunting in that single location. It's set up exactly like Ghost Hunters in that way where you'd follow people around and hear their thoughts as they're investigating whatever location that is. And then here's the evidence from that static cam that's like pointed at one location. And both styles work well hand in hand with each other. So you feel safe in the handheld and then and you feel less safe in that creepy static cam. The transitions feel very natural between the two. This feels like two people messing around with a camera and sometimes pushing each other's buttons. And there are natural moments where they turn off those cameras to have those fights. So having those two setups like really sets out that third act turnaround very, very well. But as I said in my opening, the static cam shots is really where this shines. The static cam like has you looking everywhere around the frame, not knowing where it's going to happen. There's no music. Music would make this feel not real and genuine. You're just an observer. You're a participant in this investigation, reviewing the evidence, seeing if you can notice something that someone else might miss. There's no real character arcs because that too might ruin the realness they establish here. It doesn't feel rehearsed or staged. It feels like reality. So if you're not into that, if you think it's boring, okay, it's not going to work for you. But that style does work for me. I don't believe my client misrepresented itself to you. It didn't say it was going to be some sort of dramatic masterpiece.
Yeah, I object. First off, let me say that found footage, the reason I don't do it is because it's fucking easy. And I don't do this. I make my films hard because I want to try and make
try it and see how hard it can be. Because I think so many found footage films fail.
Excuse for poor footage, for shaky footage, for poor production quality. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to try and get something made and see if somebody will buy into it. The reason that this got made was very simple. Early viral trends, early viral stuff. Got it online, got some people watching it, got a few scary moments with this negative space, caught people watching, got it viral, and then studios got interested and finally put some money behind it to fix it and get it in front of people so that it could be watched. And that's what happened. It's not a good movie. It's not well made. And Blair Witch, Jesus Christ, man. That is a terrible film.
Here, let me talk to you about
Let's talk about that.
Can't be a surprise.
Out on trial right now, of course.
Yeah, we're not here. Maybe next time though. But I think it's going to be a lot like this.
I can sit through it and not set off my motion sickness movie again. But let's say, okay, this is presented.
Yeah, and this movie has the static cam, right? So you gotta like at least that the static cam is like put in between.
Yeah, no, it truly doesn't suffer from that.
But okay, so what if we are looking at it as if it's real? Right, and we're watching footage that this really happened to these people. Who edited this thing? Who found this footage?
Paramount
ADR in it. Who fixed
the police
ADR in it? I mean, who decided?
What ADR needed fixed? I don't know.
Let's not start the movie with these poor people. They got fucking destroyed by this ghost, but no, we're going to build up tension and sell tickets. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. That would be so disturbing. That's why the Blair Witch thing never made any sense about it's real. You can't release a fucking snuff movie. You can't do that. The internal logic again.
Yeah.
These sorts of movies do come out every so often where it's like, someone's like, hey, I'm the person who knows the truth about pollution or whatever. So I gotta get it out there. And the only way I could get it out is like through a theatrical release. And I think it kind of happened more naturally in this case. This is not pretending to be real. Like Blair Witch kind of pretended to be real. This never did.
I'd like to hear objections.
No, I object. Like you said, this is trying to do the Zach Baggins ghost hunting thing. It's trying to be real. Like you said, it's trying to draw people in and make you a part of it. You're watching kind of like security cam footage. It's definitely trying to convince you that this is a real thing.
Yeah,
it's not trying to convince you that it happened. It's trying to convince you that if it did happen, this is how it would be presented.
Found footage is a gimmick.
Okay,
nobody does it nowadays because it's a gimmick. It was a gimmick back then to get small budget films out onto the big screen. We don't do it anymore because it's a gimmick.
Take that, small budget films. You suck.
I hate you. Go get some money. Hello, rich people. Paranormal Activity would like to join you.
Just hire a cinematographer. That's all I'm saying.
It would be a whole different movie if this were like a cinematographer doing it. It would be like a forgotten, released on Shudder, nobody cares. Like if there was like an invisible camera entity doing these things. The only reason it works and works so well is because of the found footage format.
No, it would be more like Cannibal Holocaust about the people who found the footage and then put it together and were reviewing the footage.
They could do that. I mean, other found footage films in the future have done things like that. Like I think Noroi did that. And,
in the future.
But you know, that's not what they did. And these guys were kind of early in. There was like some alien found footage film in like the 1990s, then Blair Witch, then this. So like you
and
really
nothing in between, Mr. Haslar. Is that what you're saying?
Rarely. I don't think there were many.
You don't think there were hundreds and hundreds of Blair Witch copycats?
Yes. Tons of them.
I don't remember seeing any. No, not the.
All right, okay.
You can. I mean, I'm open to being corrected, but not that was widely released. Not that like had like that kind of credibility that Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity had.
The only reason Paranormal had credibility was that it was released by a major studio. That's it.
I don't know, because like they had that Demand It campaign, right? Like they like their whole campaign was like, here's people watching the movie in the theaters and see how scared they get, and you should demand it to be shown in your theater as well. So yeah, they didn't really represent this. It's not like Paramount, watch this one. You know, that's what they did with the sequels.
Yeah. But Paramount having a studio behind you gives you legitimacy. We can agree with that, right?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so that's why we're
Doesn't
saying
hurt my case any.
They're much more legitimate, right? That's why, and again, that's why these filmmakers use found footage. It's an easy crutch for you to get away with low budget, bad footage, shaky cam. You know,
I think there was a lot they had to figure out at the time, which was like sort of my point when I was going down that direction, where it was like Blair Witch and this. Like they had to kind of figure out a lot on how to make that. It's a lot easier now. It's like, well, Paranormal Activity did this and Blair Witch did this, and I'm just going to copy, paste with my own story and just roll with it. But you know, at that time, no one had done like the Ghost Hunters sort of format with it. This was new.
Well, and nobody's doing it now, is my point.
They did like 6 sequels and there was like
they're not doing any now. You know, the found footage.
Well,
because people got tired of it, but that's not this film's
fault. Wait a few months and we'll get another one,
movie,
Mr.
it's
Campbell.
a gimmick. Now that the gimmick's been exposed, nobody's really interested.
Well, like One Shot of the Dead, that was kind of done a little bit more recently.
There are certainly other found footage films. Mr. Haslar, do you have any further exhibits?
No, I will rest on that.
All right. All sides have rested their cases. The attorneys will now present their closing arguments. Marty and Clif, you may begin.
Sleep. Hear a noise. Argue about the camera. Repeat. Sleep. Hear a noise. Argue about the camera. Repeat. Sleep. Hear a noise. Argue about the camera. Repeat. Are you sensing a pattern? We rest.
Where did the third guy come from?
And then the demon comes out.
I thought it was going to be an anti-drug PSA there for a second.
Really? It made me want to do drugs. But, Mr. Haslar, please present your closing argument.
Paranormal Activity is not a bad movie, just a movie that might have not been to someone's taste. If you want to see a bad movie, watch what the last few entries in the series did, the marked ones in the Ghost Dimension. Those are bad movies. One look at that 3D hand trying to grab that camera, and I think you'll gladly induct this film into your requisite found footage viewing for life. This is a film that reinvigorated found footage. Films that I don't think would exist without Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity, both. Yes, from where we stand, we likely remember the fatigue of, another found footage film. And granted, the sequels rode that wave. But just the fact that there were so many knockoffs and sequels speaks to how Oren Peli tapped into something true here. The formula of the handheld camera in the day, the static cam at night, worked for this film as well as the next 3 or 4 films in the franchise. The characters were relatable and real. You gotta at least like Katie. I like both of them. If you didn't see it in a theater, or if you saw it with people who were in the mood for riffing, then yeah, I feel bad for you, man. You missed out. It's not going to play well in certain environments. And if found footage simply isn't your bag, also fine. But don't take it away from the rest of us. Nobody is forcing you to watch it. But if you do, turn the lights down, have some people around who are ready to feel creeped out, and it plays. It didn't. No, you chose this one, and it didn't misrepresent itself. It said, "Hey, we're a found footage film about a demon," and that's what it gave you.
Where's the demon?
It is a public posting.
Where's the demon?
Where you brought this on yourself.
Where's the demon?
The demon's in the
Where's
sky.
the demons
The
in
thing
the
that
sky?
dragged her down the stairs. Were you watching the movie?
Oh, and by the way, I ran this movie at my movie theater, so I saw it.
You can't object to my closing statement.
That is definitely true, but I can. Order in my court. Members of the jury, Mr. Maynard Bangs, Mr. Dylan J. Schlender, and Mr. I'm not going to kiss the camera. I'll kiss Ryan Luis Rodriguez. You have all heard the facts concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. The bailiff will escort you to the deliberation room to render your verdict.
Right this way? You know, they won't enter my tape because I sleep commando.
Yeah, that tracks.
Lightning.
Under barbed
So
wire.
you wear a shirt but no pants, like Winnie the Pooh.
Ooh.
I think it means
You seem to know a lot about how the bailiff sleeps, Ryan.
Full three-piece suit
Well,
top.
he sends us the tape every day.
Now that's paranormal activity. Who's doing the thing and the other thing?
I'm foreman.
All right.
I guess I'll do the interview as a ghost.
Ooh.
No, Ryan's a ghost. You can't be one now, Sean.
I'll
Already
think of
undercut
something.
you.
I'm pretty clever. I'll think
What
of
are we
something.
thinking, guys? Ooh, Dylan. Ooh.
Okay. So, very passionate cases on both sides. I think Ben loves this movie as much as Marty and Cliff hate it. So I really like it when we get that kind of energy in the courtroom. So looking at what the prosecution said, I kind of agree with a lot of what they were saying. I didn't find this to be building tension. I found it to be pretty boring because they're not going to release a movie where nothing ultimately happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, unfortunately,
Wow.
it's hard to make this
We
feel
hope.
like it's not a movie. No, because you know there's going to be something big at the end. And you know that's what they're going to. So there's not really any tension at all being built up because it's like, well, they're not going to like die halfway through. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to get seriously wounded. They're not going to leave. And another thing they
But you
said
see
that
how
I-
the action escalates, right? How every single night it gets worse. Therefore, every time we get
But
to
it's
another
not,
night scene,
it's not interesting though. That's the problem because it just kind of keeps plotting. It's like they just said at their closing, you know, like something happens, they argue, then they go back to sleep. I mean, like they have enough footage there to convince many skeptics that something serious is happening in that they could have commanded quite a bit of attention with the footage they had and chose not to for reasons that are not explained. So yeah, I hated the characters too. I mean, Ben says you have to love the chick. I did not like the dude. You know, so
that
I wasn't
hurts
like
a lot,
rooting.
I think, for sure.
You see, I wasn't rooting. I mean, I wasn't rooting against them. I felt bad that they're being terrorized, but it's just like I don't know really what to do with this movie ultimately. But you know, in Ben's defense, these movies are made with a very specific idea in mind. Like, yeah, obviously you can't. You should. It's not like a Sunday rainy afternoon movie, right? Like you're supposed to watch it late at night. You're supposed to watch it in the dark. You know, hopefully you got your girl squeezing your bicep because she's freaked out and you're just kind of like, all right. So I get that it's kind of niche, even though it did blow up, but like the found footage niche, I don't know what to do with it anymore.
Was
to be
this
honest.
your first time seeing it?
This was, I had seen, believe it or not, I had seen the sequel.
Yeah, no, I know. 'Cause we've seen some of the sequels together.
Yeah.
And I know you hadn't seen the first one, so that's interesting.
No, and I had not seen the first one. I mean, like the things I like in the movie, actually, I will agree with Ben. I don't hate the still cam, you know, with the door open. I thought the way that's framed, you know, like that has the potential to be creepy. It's just unfortunately none of the events that happened in that framing proved to be particularly scary or interesting. And it just rides completely off the popularity of Ghost Hunters. And I am not as cynical as Ben. I like to be, I would say I'm optimistically skeptical. Like I will believe it when I see it.
Skeptimistic.
I'm skeptimistic. Oh, wow, man. That's a good one, man. Skeptimistic.
That's mine.
I'm skeptimistic.
Patent pending, you
I've
bastards.
stolen. And so that's kind of like the same reason I'm not a big fan of like Sasquatch movies, even though I love Sasquatch and the mythology around that. And like, I would rather just watch real episodes of Ghost Hunters where they don't find anything. Like that's more interesting than.
Well, they did that one
contrived,
time.
You know, I'll do that one in the lighthouse where he looks over the railing. What the hell was that? But
That
that's
was a
what I'm
PA.
saying. Though.
You're absolutely right, though.
It probably was though. Yeah, but I've said a lot. Let's hear over you guys.
Rob.
Oh, you want to hear from me? Well, first I'll give it to Marty and Clif. I think they're coming in brave because this is one of my favorite movies. I think Blair Witch is the ultimate found footage movie.
Agreed.
In that it and I think its strength is that it does a lot with very little. And I do think independent filmmakers should learn a lot from that. But the key to me is you make up for your lack of budget with a good story. Blair Witch did, as long as you can get invested in those kids and you're actually terrified of getting lost in the woods. There doesn't even need to be a witch. Getting lost in the woods is already terrifying, and documenting that already works. And in this case, I think Paranormal Activity is one of the only, there are some others, Wreck is good, but Paranormal Activity, I think, really sets up the good use of the medium where they introduce the static cam. And I think Ben brought that up well. It breaks up the film in a lot of different sections, which Blair Witch kind of did too, between the day and the night. So this is cribbing a little from the master. I won't lie about that. But at the way that everything escalates, and I think that I think tons of tension is captured in the static cam where you are looking really close. So I didn't see this in theaters. The first time I saw it was on a bootleg DVD that I bought on the streets of New York at some point. But
Nice.
when I finished it at like 11 or actually it was probably more like 1 or 2 in the morning, my roommate was still up, and I basically just told him the entire story of the movie and was like, and then this happened, and then the door slams and there's a monster, you know, like, and went through the whole story. So it really scared the crap out of me. And I've probably seen it even more than Ben, more than 10 times. I've probably seen it 24 times. On this watch, I had to really close watch it. So having seen it so many times, I knew everything that was coming. So the tension was a little bit lower this time. But I will say that the scene where they find the picture in the attic hit me with particular dread. And that was still very effective. That this thing has been carrying her picture and lives up in their attic is kind of scary. So this movie is very,
that
very
actually might be
effective.
my favorite scene too. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
yeah.
just
It's
going
the most
up into
effective
the
scene.
crawl space. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Because
literally don't know when the camera's going to turn and what it's going to reveal.
That time I did feel like something could happen. Like all the static shots of the bedroom, like I just no dread. I was not worried. It's like, okay, what's the spooky thing that's going to happen?
They were,
You know, but the attic mixed it up.
It absolutely is kind of just those cheap jump YouTube videos where you watch something very slow and then something fast happens. But for some of us horror adrenaline junkies, there's just not much that gets us anymore. Sometimes you just have to put on a slow thing and then make a jump. And this is a movie that gives you 4 or 5 of those through the entire runtime.
I like Skimmering, and that was way slower than this.
Jesus. Thank you. I feel more alive than ever now, Cliff.
No, but see, I think like Skinamarink accomplishes a lot of the same goals that this
right, but I
was
think
sought out to
right,
do.
but
Much
like
better.
Skinamarink, like this, if you go in with the right attitude and you're not buying into the characters, I think you're screwed. I think you're supposed to hate Mika in the way that you kind of are always supposed to hate certain horror movie characters. Like, you're an idiot. Why are you making this worse? Why are you going to investigate the noise? Why are you going into the garage? He's that guy.
Why are you getting the Ouija board? Yeah, exactly.
Right. But Katie is kind of she's the survivor girl that you're kind of supposed to root for. And it turns out this is all about a demon that ultimately possesses her, but has been stalking her. So she's the main character. And so the fact that it gets her in the end and wins and kills Mika, I actually don't like the camera pounce. I think I would prefer the police. I think I'd prefer if she walked in and threw the body, it knocked over the camera, you saw it was her covered in blood, and she turned and walked away. I don't like her crawling at the camera and doing the demon face. Not into that. Sorry, Steven.
I didn't like that decision either.
But I do like the throwing the body, and that is the little bit of extra money that this movie needs. It does have a super low budget, but then you don't expect someone to get lifted all the way up out of bed or dragged all the way up out of bed those are like very shocking moments the first few times you see the movie. Anyway.
Oh, you know, I gotta disagree with Ben too, where he says like it didn't feel staged. It felt very staged. I mean, you could. This was like I'm acting school of acting.
Okay,
kind of
okay.
thing, you know?
So that's tough for me because I really was focused on that, and it's interesting, kind of the way that they are ad-libbing, but they do have a kind of a stiff cardboard way of speaking. But you have to remember the camera is always rolling, and if you've ever been around a rolling camera a lot, people just behave differently, even when they know it's in the background. They just kind of like they're always subconsciously talking to the people on the other side of the camera who will watch it back. So that, you know, they're kind of always narrating things. That felt very natural. Like if you watch home videos of like kids' birthday parties, they talk the way these people do talk in the movie, where they're kind of announcing what they're doing and they're sort of talking to this other. And so I think all the found footage in this, as far as them behaving like they're just a couple at home, of what we see is I buy all of it.
All right, let's hear from Ryan.
Yeah,
I've always felt that directors that want to establish a voice should probably start with something small and genre related to kind of get the feeling
That's
of what
what
it's
I
like to be a
say.
director. And I think it's not a surprise that we haven't really heard the name Oren Peli since. Like, have you heard of the new blockbuster Oren Peli's making? Not happening. I kind of hate found footage on principle, because I think it allows filmmakers to be unprofessional and amateurish, and it kind of looks like slop most of the time. And anytime you put a psychic in a movie and he gives advice, I roll my eyes immediately. I know it's the unbearable atheist in me, but I can't help it. But I still remember seeing the commercials of the audiences in night vision freaking the fuck out and just not getting it. And to Ben's point, I didn't watch this during the day. I actually watched this at night at my home. I made sure I was the only one home when I watched it because I wanted to be in the ideal position. And it did absolutely not even the ending did a single goddamn thing for me.
And you're a self-proclaimed puss.
The Steadicam is a nice novel thing, but they really do overuse it to the point where it's just like, oh, she's standing again. Okay, that's great. And every single scene of the two of them acting together feels like a rehearsal and not like an actual scene of two humans interacting. And like, I'm afraid of the dark, as Rob just mentioned. I am a total puss. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of home invaders. And this does not do remotely anything for me. I honestly, hate this movie.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
anything Ben said, though, that made you reconsider?
I think I agree with Ben in that I believe that he believes what he's saying. But we just happen to disagree on what those facts are. But I think that Ben is making very cogent arguments and being very thoughtful about it and being very trying to be inclusive of other people that are watching this film. And I respect that. I just happen to disagree. So let's start locking it in. Dylan, what are you thinking?
I'm going guilty today.
Okay. Rob?
Well, I think I know the way it's going to go now.
You think, but you don't know.
I am pretty sure.
You got to vote the way you want to vote anyway, Maynard. It's okay to
true.
say
Well, it's tough because, you know, Marty and Clif, they had a lot of great arguments. I don't agree with those because I've seen the movie and I know it has taken me and I've fallen for it multiple times on multiple viewings. I have. This movie
really
suckers me in. Absolutely. Maybe it's because I like the characters, but similar to Blair Witch, when I watch it, I'm in their shoes. And those are not the things I want happening. I do not want those kind of things happening that are happening in this movie. And the fact that they're subtle and small doesn't really matter, because if they were really happening to you, they would really suck. So it is effective to me. And I'm not going to go to bat for all the found footage. I agree. Most of the time it is crap. I think it is so rare they can tell a story successfully through that medium. I think there's a handful of them. This is one I think is. So I'll go not guilty. But I think I know.
Very brave of you.
Very mansome.
You know what? Fuck it. This is guilty.
Well,
let's go
who should we
that
tell?
very handsome judge. I forgot I was the ghost until the end.
Well, I'm glad that you remembered, and that now Schlenzo can't be a judge or a ghost.
No, I
because
can't
I'm the
be
judge.
A ghost. Yeah, I can't be a judge either.
Mr. Foreman, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Ah!
In the case of the people versus paranormal activity. We find the defendant guilty of being a bad movie.
God damn it, I hate this show. The verdict is so rendered, I hereby declare that Paranormal Activity be dragged down the hallway by its heels and then hurled at its own camera, breaking it forever. Court is adjourned.
This is Bezel Bob, reporting to you live outside the Wheels of Justice. This is why I didn't talk in the movie. It would have been scary. Marty
I think
Clif.
it might have been at the middle of the night, hearing that in your attic. I don't know.
Oh, he's the demon.
Oh, that's right, Bezel Bob, right? That's my name. So, you got me here with the Ouija board, Marty and Clif. Would you care to share your thoughts on the jury's verdict?
Oh, we had a lot of fun today. This was a blast. We figured we'd come in with, you know, some skits and some songs and stuff, and just kind of have fun with it. And it was nice to come away with the win.
Yeah, we thanks for having us on, and you know, hopefully it wasn't too harsh, but it was a lot of fun. We really do love to argue about movies.
Well, that's just fine and dandy. Thank you. And here comes Big Bad Ben. Excuse me, can we get a word on how you feel about today's verdict?
Well, I'm skeptimistic about this jury. I think it might depend on who is in it. I think this is the kind of film that, like, you have your feeling on it, and whatever it is, nobody can shake you. Like, whether you loved it, no one's going to shake you from it. If you hated it, no one's going to shake you from it. So I think the jury at home will have to decide. I don't think I can nudge them. I don't think I can nudge them. I don't think Clif and Marty nudged them. I just think everyone's static like the cam in this film. But Ryan, the reason you don't hear Oren Pelly's name is because he retired. He's like, okay, I made my millions, I'm done. He produced the sequels, but he's done directing. So, more power to him.
I don't respect that, goddammit.
Same.
Well, that's all the time we have from the courthouse today. Let's go back to the studio for some post-trial analysis, and I'm going to disappear in a burst of flame right now.
No, I'm going to exorcise you from this court forever. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Ah, great. There goes Bizzle Bob. He was the only original character I had for the whole season. Now I'll have to do all the interviews as myself.
Master Chief will give you pointers.
I have a feeling that Beelzebub will be back each and every week, more and more interesting, new and colorful
adventures. Yes.
Anyway, so Marty Clif, great episode. You threw down the gauntlet against one of my favorite movies, and then you won, you bastards.
I chalk a lot of it up to the pandering.
It did do a heavy lift. I can't lie about that.
It was fun. We figured, you guys like the songs and the funny joke stuff. So we came up with a few things.
Yes, Ryan really likes the songs.
I fucking hate the songs.
Yeah, but
3 out of 4 real jurors love songs.
I'm pretty sure Ryan.
No, I like the songs too. So everyone likes the songs. We all agree, but most definitely Ryan. Anyway, so what's been keeping you too busy? What have you been up to lately? We haven't seen you in.
Please tell us you're making more movies.
Yeah, we're in pre-production right now. We were. That's why we're in the same place. We've been doing some location scouting, hopefully getting ready to shoot. Nice. If not this year, next year. But we're going to go back on set. It's time to make another movie. And in the meantime, Talking Pondo continues every week. New episodes drop every Monday, where Clif and I invite a guest onto the show most of the time, and we give them a couple movies to pick from. They give us a couple movies to pick from. We each pick one, and we talk about them for about an hour. It's been pretty fun, and been about 2 years worth so far.
Yeah, just did our
now this new movie.
Yeah, just
are we talking about a quadrilogy, or is this completely unrelated to the trilogy?
Oh, this is a brand new
found footage.
Yeah, no, but it is horror.
It is horror.
Oh, do you need like a tall Jack guy to be the killer?
Or to eat 72 ounces of steak?
Or that.
That's scary.
Or someone that's victim weight.
Not if he's eating 72 ounces of steak.
Yeah.
No, it's talking about me. I could be the victim weight.
Oh no! I don't want to kill Ben in a movie. Wait, yes I do. Can we do that?
Well, we'll have to have you up for
No, how
goes?
How are we going to kill Ben in
in
this
to be in
movie?
your movie?
Marty
Hey, I
and
mean,
Cliff.
if the Safdies can use non-actors, I mean, why can't we?
Hey, there
Is
we
your-
go.
Is your script written and all that?
Oh yeah. We're in the
Pre-production,
we're in the-
Ben.
Yeah, we're scouting and doing and starting to seek money and that type of thing. We're in that phase right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
No,
You need a
yeah,
proofreader.
And I know you can't tell us much about it, but does it
Yeah.
have a project code name that you refer to it as when you can't call it the title?
Thunder Bucket.
Don't give him a good
Project.
You can say
Project
like
Furby.
the Blue Harvest name of it is Day One.
Okay.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
that's good. I like that one. I like Thunder Bucket more, but we're going to keep that in-house now.
I'm kind of partial
Exactly.
to Project Furby, honestly.
Oh. Unfortunately, the domain for thunderbucket.com is taken.
Oh, damn it.
I know. I took it like 5 minutes ago. Why didn't you guys?
Oh, yes. Way to go, Ryan.
God damn it. And Skeptimistic is gone too!
Yeah, you gotta be faster than that. You gotta be faster than
Damn
that.
you, Ben.
Damn.
Anyway, so tell us more about the podcast. Where can people catch this? Where can they find it?
Oh, it's on all your podcatchers, your Spotify's, YouTube's, good pods.
Yeah, good
is that one?
pods. Yeah.
Apple Podcasts,
iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
Anywhere you're going to get it,
Just make a
YouTube.
couple-
Yeah, definitely subscribe to
Yeah,
our
make up a
YouTube
couple
page. We keep getting
sounds
more
and-
subscribers there. So, and just look up
Awesome.
Yeah,
Talking
our
Pondo,
YouTube's
and
doing
you'll
pretty
find
good,
it.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love going on your guys' show when we did Talking Figgy Pondo. Well,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
want to
good.
be the exclusive. I want to be the exclusive Christmas guest. So let's get that on the book for this.
We can
next
swing
Christmas
that. That
coming
was an excellent episode, and that rollerball episode was a good one too.
Oh, Derek.
Yeah, I
That
mean-
was. Yeah, we've had a blast
yes.
with all of you guys, man. That's why we got to keep having you back. It's just.
we've gotten lucky. We've had some great guests, and we're having some people coming on in the future that we're pretty excited about. So.
I'm going to have to ask you guys when we get done recording who bailed on you for the Jawbreaker episode, because you keep hinting at it with much support, but you don't actually
Well,
sell
they
them
were
out.
busy,
It cracked me up.
Did you end up doing it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
Because
just
because
We
Yeah,
got to
we didn't
stay
have
on
the buffer.
schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
gotta stay
like,
on schedule.
It's like,
Mm.
and then it's like,
You should've-
come back. Pick
you should've
different movie,
pinged-
I guess.
you should have pinged one of us. First off, I think you could ping Ryan about just about any movie, and he's probably already seen it, possibly that day. So
Be like,
you've got
are
a
you
good
busy in the
shot.
next 15 minutes?
You might.
You might be.
maybe.
You might be
All
free.
right, we'll remember that
Might
next
be able to
time.
get
Yeah,
him
absolutely.
scrambled.
I would
But
try
I had
as
actually
hard
just
as I
recently
could.
saw Jawbreaker, so you could have also pinged me, and I had just seen it. I recommended it.
Yeah, but the other
That's
movie
another
guys
thing
I
you do. Search
never
our
heard of.
recommendations of justice hashtag and see if we recommended the movie and which one of us did it. And now you know we've seen it and we could talk
Ooh,
about it.
That's a good.
That's
That's
a
a
good
good
idea.
such a-
That's a good idea.
There's
Okay.
there's a life hack for movie podcasters out there. Check our letterboxd, and we are willing to
Under-
talk
You want to have your ear talked off? Just
Yeah.
I want someone
Ben
to.
Haslar.
for up to
Ben
an
Haslar
hour.
on Letterboxd under recommendations of justice. Ben keeps it all curated. with our
Recommendations. Oh, that's such a clever name. I got to talk to this Ben Haslar guy.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, very-
that's what the people are
very good
saying.
stuff.
Anyway, so we always ask for recommendations from our guests for movies that you think people should see. So, Marty, you go first. What movie do you think people should see?
All right, my recommendation for the week is it's about a person who's fed up with the kind of not very good scripts that he keeps seeing, and so he decides to write his own American Fiction. It's one of the best movies I've seen in recent times, and it was also from a fellow Tucsonan, Cord Jefferson. That's his name, right?
Yep.
And yeah, it's full of the Tucson snark that you heard in today's episode is present in that movie, American Fiction. I love it, love it, love it. 5 stars all the way.
I recommended it back when it came out.
Oh, awesome.
Tucsonan is the word. Are you sure?
Tucsonan
That's what
indeed,
you want to
sir.
call
I think he would
Tucsonan?
know, right?
Yeah, I'm just confirming.
Tucsonian
I wouldn't want
is
to be called if someone called me a Tucsonan, I might punch him in the mouth. I'd be like, "What did you call
Well,
me?"
you're not one though. But then again, maybe you are.
Oh.
How about a Tucson? You know, like a son
Yeah.
of Tucson.
That's what it feels like
Tucson.
sometimes.
Ooh, why not just Sons of Tucson? I mean, then this sounds like
That's
a motorcycle
copyright.
gang.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's taken.
Yeah, that was a television.
Cliff, what kind of recommendation you got for us?
I'm going to give you one that we did a while back, but I keep thinking about, and I really enjoy. And Marty had a great cold opening for it for our episode, but it was A Bad Day at Black Rock. It's got Spencer Tracy. Yeah, he comes back to a small town in California. He gets off a train, comes off this beautiful train in the middle of a small town in California. He's a one-armed man who's mysterious, and for some reason, the minute he walks into this town, he starts being harassed and shoved and told to get out. And the story goes from there. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. So I highly recommend
One of the first
on my last date.
widescreen movies ever made, and Sturges uses every single inch of that frame.
It's gorgeous. It's. I mean, that train rolling in, rolling out, that landscape. It's really a gorgeous movie, and a really, really good one. It's wild. But Marty's got a great opening bit where he talks about. He says, the 50s. Where we're going to make a movie about how poorly we treated the Japanese during World War II, but we won't have any Japanese people in the movie. And that's exactly, that's the 50s for you. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's true. Well, at least it's a relic of that time, so we can learn a bit about it, of what happened.
Yeah, you will, and it's really good. I really recommend it. It's got some excellent performances in it too. I think Lee Marvin, who's the other one? Ernest Borgnine's in it. Mm-hmm. So fantastic cast.
Man, that's a lot of surly men. That's an angry cast right there.
Really good movie for that.
One more time, Ryan.
If you like seeing Spencer Tracy punch people, it's a really good movie for that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even know they were making a movie.
Yeah, he uses judo in the movie.
Judo chop.
Well, if he's only got one arm, that makes sense, hip toss him.
Big Ben, what have you got for us?
My recommendation, A Journey into Chinese Cinema today, doesn't have a ton to do with today's trial. Maybe Unseen Deadly Forces at Play? I don't know. It's 2015's The Assassin, based on a 9th century story, short story taking place during the backdrop of a province of China that preferred to be its own state. So one can't help but wonder if this is meant to be a subtle jab at the current Chinese political sphere. The film stars Shu Qi of Journey to the West fame and one of the most beautiful women in the world. And while there she played a comedic role as a love-starved warrior, here I absolutely buy her as a stoic assassin. The story kicks off when she is charged to take out a governor of this rebel province, but finding herself unable to do it in front of his child. As punishment, she is sent to do the same thing to someone she was once betrothed to for similar reasons. Something we see her also having troubles doing. I feel like I compliment this aspect a lot in my recommendations, but the photography is absolutely standout here. Maybe cinematography in a few places, but certainly photography. Whoever was in charge of that knew how to line up the most interesting and diverse shots of China's landscapes and making wonderful use of its 4:3 frame. The story is a little harder to get into for Western audiences, I think. There were certainly things I didn't quite get at what they were getting for, so I had to kind of pull out my smartphone and Google a little bit. So maybe towards the bottom of the heap of my recommendations, but still very worth a watch.
Wow, a 4:3 frame, not a very tall guy.
Victim weight, some might say. Maynard, you were the judgeman. What are you recommending?
My recommendation today is one of my favorite found footage films, so it's right up Marty and Clif's alley. And I'm actually surprised I've never recommended it before, because I often recommend it IRL. It's 2011's Apollo 18. Did you know there was a secret mission to the moon? It was kept under wraps for decades because of the complications. However, the NASA archival footage has been leaked, and you'll never believe what they found, according to ancient astronaut theorists.
No, man, get back on track.
All right, okay. That's the premise anyway. Detractors of the genre should be pleasantly surprised by this entry, because the malevolent forces at play are not invisible spirits. In fact, this is a little bit of a creature feature. Oh, we're monsters on the moon. Your brains are our rangoons. In addition, instead of just running around someone's parents' house for 3 weeks, the crew managed to create a convincing enough facsimile of the inside of a lunar module, at least to a novice but handsome observer. And as this is set in the mid-70s, they're able to age the images well enough to look like genuine NASA footage of that era, making this a particularly successful example of the genre, in my opinion. The fact that it heavily features the Yes song and You and I is merely a happy bonus. Plus, this film has the decency to get you out in an hour and 15 minutes, unless you stay for the bewilderingly long credit sequence that I assume was meant to pad out the official runtime. If you want to see the found footage genre go to the moon, Apollo 18 is currently streaming on, oh my good lord, could it be true? It's Tubi!
Yeah! Yeah, it is funny. You do talk about that movie a lot. I am surprised you haven't recommended it.
Yeah, I checked it, but, I could be bad at using Letterboxd. Maybe I did it twice. Schlender, what have you got for us?
Well, Maynard, as we pointed out, I'm skeptimistic. So
God damn it!
Hey, that's fine. I trademarked it already.
Skeptimistic about the existence of ghosts, Sasquatch, interdimensional beings, but I'm always very skeptical when viewing the evidence because it could be made by an illusionist. So here is my recommendation, The Illusionist from 2010, not to be confused with the Ed Norton movie we did in this very court. No. This is in the proud tradition of French hand-drawn animation. It takes place towards the end of the vaudeville era, wherein our protagonist, the illusionist, gets to perform less and less as the modern audience prefers rock and roll. His travels net him a companion that believes his magic is real, and we see the struggles involved with the illusionist's greatest trick, keeping his companion happy. All I can say is I look forward to going through all of director Sylvain Chamal's work as it seemingly keeps getting better. I think this one's streaming on Prime, like real Prime, so not that fake Prime that wants more money.
Don't give him no more money.
I hate that fake Prime so much. I know this is the same guy that did the triplets of Belleville, or whatever that one was, which was also really good. This one's better.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
And hand-drawn animation, you gotta. I know it's French.
Well, I'm for it. And
but you know what though? They don't say anything. They don't say anything too. It's very minimal.
They don't talk the whole movie.
Just like in the triplets of Belleville. Yep, there's not a lot of dialogue.
That is when
little
the French
sounds and things. It's so true. No, but this one you gotta. If you're a fan of hand-drawn animation, gotta get this one on your radar.
Speaking of fans of hand-drawn animation, Ryan Luis Rodriguez, why don't you send us on home?
My Gecko-mendation this week is a film I didn't particularly enjoy, but it was released 2 weeks before this recording and actually feels on topic. 2025's Undertone. It follows a young podcaster, let me keep speaking, I know that sounds annoying, played by Nina Kiri, taking care of her invalid semi-catatonic mother while trying to unwrap a supernatural mystery with her co-host. But the whole novelty of the film lies in the fact that these are the only two characters we ever see on screen. Everything else is heard. If it seems like something you'd be interested in, see it in a theater with the strongest sound system you can find. It really is a remarkable example of sound design, especially for a film that cost only $500,000. Apparently it's spooking plenty of film goers, although it didn't raise my pulse for a second. I didn't hate it. It just feels kind of slight, and at 94 minutes still feels a little long. Anyway, that's Undertone, an A24 production, so it'll probably be streaming on what used to be Max, and no one will ever hear it the way it was ever intended, ever again.
Yeah,
I'm beginning to think Ryan's not a puss anymore.
That's exactly what I say. I'm like, maybe
right?
Ryan's just very brave and he didn't know it at all. He's a big brave
we
dog.
toughened him up. That's what it is.
That's it. We made him watch enough spooky stuff every October through Hell on Reels, and he's not scared of nothing no more. Look at Bill. He's indestructible.
He's been inoculated.
Exactly. Nothing can stop him now.
I have to imagine we're on a show, Maynard.
Well, I was gonna say I kind of want to see that Undertone now, and
see it in the theater. Hurry! Like it's gonna be gone in a second.
Sure.
And also, everyone out there, if you think Ben is right in that no one was able to move you one way or the other, click the link. What you think of the verdict in the show notes. Just make sure you're mentioning that you're talking about Paranormal Activity, so we know which episode you're responding to.
They don't want to talk to us. Oh,
they might.
They might. They could. But I was thinking of the movie. But I was thinking of the movie Presence that you liked last year, Schlinzo, right? And I think Ryan recommended it.
I loved it
too.
With the single takes and there's a ghost in the house. Steven
Right.
Soderbergh.
And so
Oh,
it's
yes,
another way of
I
doing a ghost
did like
movie, but it's
that.
from the ghost perspective. But I think
It's not
think these
scary
are-
at all, but very good.
I
Though.
think these are interesting ways to try to present those sort of oddball stories. So
I did use the bathroom at the time where they explained the conceit of the movie, though. Like, there's one line that makes everything make sense at the end. So when I saw the ending, I was like, wait, I must have missed something when I was at the bathroom. And I did. I missed the exact sentence that explains it.
well, as people who know behind the scenes, you were nearly late to this recording because you were pooping. And with that, we are all out of
All
show.
reviews that you do that like needs a little asterisk. Like, by the way, I may have missed something.
But we want to thank
Oh,
our
no,
guests.
I caught it.
But
Subsequently.
we want to thank our guests, Marty Ketola
have
and
guests?
Clif Campbell. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, it was a blast, guys. Thanks for having us on. I love coming on this show.
Fun as always.
Yeah, that's why I agreed to watch Paranormal Activity. It was a way to actually come on this show and get to talk to you guys, because otherwise I'd never watch that film.
And I like
something else.
And I like any excuse to rewatch it. So thank you. And we hope we're going to have you guys back. And we hope that everyone else will join us again as well, as the reels of justice keep turning.
Count it.
Standing.
Thank God he didn't take skeptimistic.
I thought he was going to say pooping.
Please follow us on Twitter at Reels of Justice, Instagram Reels of Justice, and Facebook.com/Reels of Justice.